Blake Lively's worst moments that we will never forget.
Blake Lively has had issues with many celebrities, and you won't believe some of the names on this list.
Her feud with Justin Baldoni.
Why is Blake Lively suing Justin Baldoni? Let me explain.
As the fallout begins from Blake Lively's explosive allegations against co-star Justin Baldoni.
You've probably been living under a rock if you haven't heard about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's It Ends With Us fiasco.
Ever since the release last summer of her box office hit, rumors and allegations followed, smear campaigns to bullying.
All that started quietly, of course. Nobody saw a meltdown coming when the pair first signed on as co-stars. But as production ramped up, rumor has it that Blake started clashing with Baldoni, who not only starred but also directed. The movie was supposed to be a breezy adaptation of a beloved Colleen Hoover book, but behind the scenes, full-on power struggle. Word on the street is Blake expected a say in everything from final edits to storyline tweaks, and if Justin didn't budge, she allegedly took matters to the top brass. Then came the accusations from Blake's side and the defamation countersuit from Justin. Suddenly, they were lobbing suits at each other in a real-life soap opera that overshadowed the film's hype. Gossips claim Blake's controlling nature rubbed Justin raw. He said in interviews he was beyond stressed in 2024, wiping away tears and hinting that an intense conflict nearly broke him. Those who back Blake say Justin was unprofessional, improvised intimate scenes, and forced her into unscripted kisses. Meanwhile, Justin's camp calls that rubbish, releasing text logs that show him reassuring her about postpartum weight or scheduling an intimacy coordinator. So who's the real villain? Both sides have found loyal supporters, each slamming the other as manipulative. The fiasco literally overshadowed the entire film's release. Some fans even boycotted out of confusion over who's telling the truth. Regardless, the drama proves one thing. When you cross Blake Lively, you're stepping into the ring with a star who's more than ready to take things outside. Blake Lively allegedly snubbed Leighton Meester on Gossip Girl. Let's be real, Gossip Girl thrived on drama, but apparently some of that tension bled into real life too. According to New York Magazine back in 2008, Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, Serena and Blair, BFFs on screen, avoided each other off camera like the plague. Fans who prayed the pair was as tight IRL must have been crushed. Then an old panel clip emerged, with Blake making a joke at Meester's expense, implying she'd been in a cage at birth.
That was a lot of information about cages, and I'm sorry, I was still thrown off by that stuff.
He was like, wow.
The audience reaction was complete silence. Blake tried to salvage it. Come on, it was a joke. But no one was laughing. So what's the real tea? Apparently, those close to the set claim they never openly fought, but were never besties either. Blake's PR basically told folks, they've never pretended to be friends. Blake just does her job and goes home. So fans surmised it was a classic case of two strong personalities who'd rather keep it cordial than sisterly. And the evidence was that Leighton follows a couple of Gossip Girl alumni on Instagram, but not Blake. At least they gave us good TV, but off-screen, let's just say XOXO wasn't exactly their vibe. She was accused of snubbing a fan's gift. Fans don't always get the warm, fuzzy reaction they hope for when presenting celebs with heartfelt gifts. And in Blake Lively's case, a little pink friendship bracelet definitely didn't land as planned. At the 2024 premiere of It Ends With Us, one eager fan handed Blake the homemade accessory while she was working the red carpet. Rather than slip it on and flash a gracious smile, the star promptly offloaded it to a team member, explaining it didn't go with her red carpet look, but that she'd wear it later.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. I'm gonna put it here because it doesn't go with my outfit, but I will wear it later.
That would have been fine, except the very same fan gifted an identical bracelet to co-star Isabella Ferrer, who squealed with excitement and put it on right away. Cue the crowd side-eyeing Blake for sounding less than thrilled about a sweet memento. The TikTok that captured both actresses' reactions went viral, racking up millions of views and a ton of comments saying, "Wow, Blake, couldn't you have just pretended to appreciate it for 2 seconds?" Whether it was a fashion faux pas or genuinely rude is still up for debate, but it sure gave the internet another reason to question Blake's public persona. Her lifestyle site, Preserve Glorified Antebellum South. If you thought Blake's wedding was a one-time slip-up, guess again. In 2014, Blake launched her lifestyle site, Preserve, which included a piece titled Allure of Antebellum. As if romanticizing that pre-Civil War era wasn't bad enough, the piece came accompanied by photos reimagining 1800s Southern style, allegedly curated by Blake. Critics pounced, claiming it glorified a period marked by unsavory acts by certain people against other people, and that the piece's flowery language about magnetic sensibility was seriously tone-deaf. Blake's name wasn't on the article, but she was rumored to have styled the spread, and as the site's figurehead, accountability still fell on her. The piece unleashed a wave of negative press. She shut Preserve down in 2015, admitting the site never truly found its groove. Some cynics, though, suspected the antebellum fiasco was a big reason she pulled the plug. Like no brand can recover from that level of cringe. She never directly apologized, leaving fans divided. Were her intentions naive, or was she just ignoring historical context to push cutesy, Gone with the Wind aesthetics? Either way, it's one more example that Preserve probably belonged in the bin from the start. Armie Hammer called her a nightmare on set. Okay, so maybe it's wild to cite Armie Hammer as a trustworthy source these days, but in 2017, he sure dropped a wild story on Watch What Happens Live. Hammer had a small recurring gig on Gossip Girl in 2009, and when asked who was the biggest diva, he mumbled something about it being a tough show to film, and that he had to exit early. Host Andy Cohen pressed further, inquiring, "Who was your love interest?" Hammer quietly answered, "Blake," which instantly left the impression that Blake was the so-called problem. Chelsea Handler quipped, "Sounds like she was the problem." And Hammer didn't fully deny it. Of course, Hammer's rep insisted he never directly meant Blake was the issue, but fans read between the lines, concluding that if he's cryptically discussing a diva, it's likely her. Critics point to Blake's rumored controlling nature again. Maybe she butted heads about scripts or insisted on overshadowing co-stars. The interview fueled speculation that the real Blake might be a far cry from her sunshiny persona. Hammer's meltdown overshadowed everything he once said, but some folks remain convinced that maybe he was telling the truth. She's not so easy to work with. Pregnancy cravings? She called them fake. No, she didn't. Yes, she did. In 2014, a pregnant Blake Lively stunned fans by telling Extra's AJ Calloway that pregnancy cravings are basically an excuse to indulge.
Cravings? Nah.
No?
No, we just lie.
She implied women use them to get midnight ice cream runs guilt-free. She further suggested that foot rub requests might also be a con. Let's just say a lot of expectant moms did not appreciate being labeled liars. The comment resurfaced amid all the "it ends with us" controversy, with critics framing it as more proof she's out of touch. But loyal fans argue she was joking. Blake's known for sarcastic humor. They say she never meant to shame pregnant women, just teased them about the "I need pickles at 3 a.m. stereotype. Still, telling the masses that their cravings are a big con? Risky. Considering that plenty of pregnant women do experience bizarre cravings, like pickles and peanut butter, some found it insulting. Whether it's a silly gaffe or more evidence of her aloof, privileged attitude is up for debate. But let's be real, she probably lost a chunk of mommy blogger fans that day. That interview from hell with Kirsty Flaw. When journalist Kirsty Flaw posted an old 2016 interview clip calling it "the Blake Lively interview that made me want to quit my job," the internet broke. In the video, Flaw congratulates Blake on her pregnancy, only to have Blake snark, "Congrats on your little bump," implying the reporter was pregnant too. Flaw wasn't pregnant. In fact, she'd had fertility issues. Awkward.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
Fans called Blake's retort plain mean. Kirsty admitted she was scared to go public with it, fearing a blacklist from Hollywood. But after the "it ends with us" meltdown, she felt emboldened to show the real Blake. Of course, some defenders say Blake was obviously joking. But it's a rough joke to crack if you're not sure your interviewer's pregnant. The cringe soared further when Blake didn't back down or apologize mid-interview. That sealed the deal for the rumor that behind the camera, she might be a total mean girl. Even people who were neutral started to eye-roll at how she handled a harmless question about her little bump. Summarily, Kirsty said the encounter left her questioning if she should stay a journalist. That's not exactly a hallmark of a nice, gracious star. Lashing out at a reporter over trying everything. As if the Kirsty Flaw fiasco wasn't enough, another old press junket came to light from 2017, around the time of All I See Is You. A DP30 interviewer innocuously asked Blake if she felt free to try new roles over the next 5 years. She abruptly retorted, "What does that mean?" and later questioned if the reporter had even seen the film. The tension in the clip is thick. He tried clarifying, "I meant, do you feel adventurous in your career?" She refused to let it go, eventually quipping, "We'll give you a pop quiz at the end." To viewers, it looked like she was itching for a reason to bite back at a question that was normal as far as press junkets go. People chalk it up to possible stress or exhaustion. But once it resurfaced, it fit the narrative of Blake can be trigger-happy when it comes to perceived slights. On top of that, this meltdown happened right after the fiasco, with Armie Hammer's insinuations she was difficult. Some fans think everything started piling up, exposing a pattern. Blake's seemingly sweet exterior can snap to defensive mode the second she senses shade. Whether it's miscommunication or an actual short fuse is up for debate, but from a gossip standpoint, it's definitely not the best look. What do you guys think of my list? Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and I hope you have a great day.